Homophobia Cogswell here from the Trinity Force Network. We're standing out of PAX East in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm standing with Kati and Andrew from you guys. I didn't get the studio, but I know we are playing Swing Star.
Yeah, this is Swing Star from Computer Lunch, and I'm one of the game designers and programmers, and this is Kati.
I'm the art director.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I just played was I used the Oculus Rift. I played a guy who had like a big sticky hand on his head, and I got to swing all around. And honestly, I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it, because especially when I had to stand there, like I literally had to turn my head all the way around to try to hit the next thing. So why don't you guys tell me a little bit about the game, better than what I can explain it, and the direction that you're going with this and what you want people to experience.
Yeah, so in Swing Star, somebody did an experiment that messed up all the physics in the world. So there's floating crates everywhere, and there's these weird creatures and power-ups that got warped in. And you play Swing Star, who has a magic helmet that lets you basically whatever you look at in VR, you can swing on it. And you use only your momentum to basically swing around the world. It's a little bit of a physics puzzler at this point. And as you're swinging through the world, there's different power-ups that you come into. We have these floating jello creatures that when you grab onto them, you get stuck in and kind of hang out in them. There's these air cannons that shoot you out into the air. And there's also these turbo yo-yos, I think, that'll spin you around and let you let go and shoot off into the air.
So it's available for Gear VR and for Oculus on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, and we're very excited. Right now it has 16 levels. There's going to be more levels available, so we're building them right now. We're working on boss battles. We're working on other characters.
Boss battles.
Yeah.
Well, okay, what can you tell me about an idea behind you would do a boss battle with this?
We really want to do some boss battles. Right now they're in kind of brainstorm phase, but after launch, the launch is a little bit of an early release. We want to get it out quick and then just keep pumping levels out. And then, with the boss battles, we're thinking of kind of Shadow Colossus, like giants that maybe you're swinging on top of like the arms, and maybe it's like some sort of a golem or robot. So there's like a plug that you have to swing around to the back and yank it out. People have come up with ideas like maybe there's a hole in the guy's stomach and you actually got to swing through it to do damage to it. But we really want to take advantage of like just the scale of things.
Sure. Now, speaking of the art direction that you said you worked on, the majority or all of the art, right?
Yes.
Okay. What was the what's the inspiration behind every piece, like the boxes and all that?
So there's obviously a little bit of a Mario inspiration in there, but we're actually very interested in surrealism. We look at Magritte. We want to have sort of a bright, colorful world. So we really tried to bring our aesthetics into it. We've made other games, not VR games, but we are very interested in very pop art, sort of extreme like proportions and graphics. So.
And then for the main character, we looked at I think he looks like Commander Keen. We weren't really going for that, but we looked at there's this game called Bustin' Bob? No, it's
Bust a Move?
No, not Bust a Move. It's a game where you got to shoot these like wires up and these balls are bouncing around.
Okay.
Forget the character, but we looked at Bionic Commando, Spider-Man, like all the famous like swinging characters, and we thought originally that you'd swing from your arm, but then we kind of switched it up because you're looking around, so we thought of like attaching the rope to the head.
Now, one last question about the physics in the game and how you're using, on the Oculus Rift. Was it hard to code and make the game work the way you wanted it to with, like, how fast you start moving? I mean, I'll say I started moving so fast that I was getting dizzy at one point.
We did a lot of tuning, or actually the original prototype, we wanted to do a VR game, and we were thinking more like a Sherlock Holmes style game where you just look at stuff. But then we tried this swinging mechanic, and people liked the movement and the feeling of it. But to get the feeling right, originally it was a lot slower and a little more floaty, but we turned up the speed and the gravity to make it a little more difficult, and it does get kind of crazy at certain points when you're swinging around.
I will say, we didn't want people to be entirely comfortable the entire time, so the idea of it being fun, but you're not entirely sure you're safe, and then at the end it goes back down in the intensity, so that you would have that arc, and you would feel like you really went through something, like going on a roller coaster.
Yes. So this game, you're always managing two different things. You have to worry about your current momentum and physical space, and then you're thinking you have to worry about skill shots, like am I going to grab onto the next thing? So you're always falling, and you're also trying to get that skill shot, but keep in mind where your momentum is. So it's a physics puzzler with a bit of a platforming.
I like it, and it all comes from it's not first-person point of view, but wearing the Oculus Rift and moving around. It was a very fun game to play from the 8 levels I played. So
the first-person, third-person thing. Originally, we tried doing it in first-person, but we didn't get a feeling of it's harder to tell what's going on in your speed. So with the third-person, what allows us to have a character, see the character kind of bounce around, and then also you can just get more of a sense of speed. And it gives us more of a silliness that we want to do.
It's funner.
I can see it. It's harder to.
And then the bell, so the bell is kind of this resonator bell or resonator portal bell that when you swing on it, it charges up a little like in Back to the Future when you hit 88 miles an hour. That allows you to warp out and then go to the next.
I think that was the only thing I was curious about. Why am I grabbing onto a bell? Or I grabbed the bell and there I go.
Originally, we were thinking you would play as a friar, who rings a bell. So we're thinking, the guy swings through the world. And the friar thing got completely tossed out, but
the idea is the frequency, right? So you hit a certain frequency and then you change dimensions, basically.
Yeah.
So
very cool, guys. Tell us one more time when that comes out, where they can find it.
So it'll be out on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, for the Gear VR and the Oculus Rift.
Thank you guys so much here.
Thank you for playing.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.